aunts, our grands, they're our foundation, you know? They're like the soil that we grow from.
Yeah.
And, you're right. When we're children, we don't understand that all these experiences are accumulating and you're learning from the book of life,
I used
because
to
there's
complain.
things. Oh,
I
you
used to
did?
complain with my mom. I'm like, Mom, why do you gotta talk to everybody? She like the rule that they teach you in sales, like the 2 feet rule. If somebody's so you prospect like those. I learned that a long time ago. My mom is a prospecting queen.
Great.
Like she's like, oh, you see how much the prices are gone up, and then she just like start talking about, I'm like, can we go? Like, I gotta talk to everybody, and then I'm that person. I'm her.
Yeah.
I talk to everybody. My kids look at me and like, why you gotta talk to? I don't know.
You
My
can't help
mom.
it. It's in your DNA. I mean, not only were you born into it, but that's what you saw, and it gets ingrained.
No, no,
And it's what makes you marvelous. And I think that's the
thank you
key,
so
that
much.
we celebrate the things that we laughed at when we were children,
Yep,
that now we look in the mirror and we laugh at ourselves because it's what
I'm
we
her.
become.
I'm her.
That's great. That's great. So, who would you say are your top sources of inspiration?
Top sources of inspiration.
Hmm.
Well, I was raised in the hall,
Hmm.
and I'll tell you this. My top source, I'll tell you, is Jesus Christ. And I know it sounds cliche, but
No?
you got to think about this. One thing I think about all the time is that when somebody does something to you and you're like, I'm not going to talk to him no more, and you like try it, you think about when they asked Jesus how many times you're supposed to forgive somebody, he said 77 times. I'm like, who gonna sit there and count one? You got one more chance. 76. No, that's not the point. The point was you don't keep count, right?
Yeah.
So I always think about that because I always think how many things we do on a daily basis and God forgives us every day for everything, right? So it's like being more like Christ, like what he said is,
Hmm.
you know, putting others' needs before your needs, and being forgiving. I think the biggest thing is forgiving.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of some people do things and you feel a certain type of way, and you gotta learn to let that thing go.
Yeah.
Let it go, because you'll find out when you're holding grudges is that you're holding yourself prisoner. That person's not even thinking about you.
Yeah.
You just gotta let it go. So I think, for example, number one example, I would say Jesus Christ.
Wonderful.
Number two for me would be my grandmother. She is an incredible, incredible, incredible person. My grandmother is, they call her house La Casa del Pueblo, the
Hmm.
house of the city, or what, they would say that people would drop like parachutes, like from the airplane. Like, anybody had a problem, it's like Abuela Joyce's house, right?
Oh.
There was always food. Like, she would cook like a feast. Like, where does this food? Every day somebody would come. Paracaída. It's like like coming from the heavens. People just drop it. She always has food for everybody. Somebody lost their job, they would go stay at my grandmother's. She's like the startup house, like the Camilla's house of back in the days. That's my grandmother. I mean,
Oh.
she is incredible. She's 89 years old, and she's caring for her great granddaughter. I mean,
Oh.
she's resilient. She's incredible. At 16 years old, she lost her mother and had to raise her 8 siblings.
Wow.
And I mean, she is a pillar of strength, and she's incredible to me, and I love her to death. And when I think about her, and I just get teary-eyed, because I cannot imagine my life without her ever, because I talk to her at least 3 or 4 times a day.
Nice.
So funny. She loves good things. Like, she always says, don't give me anything Mickey Mouse. Like, she like name brand everything. Don't give her no knockoff nothing. It better be real. She has her latest iPhone 12, or yeah, I think it's
Okay.
iPhone 12. She has the she calls me from her watch. I mean, she's so cute. She's adorable. I love her. She's the best. And then
No.
the third person I would say would be my parents. Undoubtedly my parents. My mom is incredible. My mom raised my dad. She met my dad. My dad had 5 kids,
Mm.
3 baby mamas.
Mm.
Okay, my mom sent for my dad's kids from El Salvador. 5. and then had 3 more and raised all of them. So my siblings adore my mom. They love her. She was like cracked the whip, but she, they are who they are today because of my mom's guidance. But she's like the general. They call her the general. Cracked the whip, but she's incredible. She was, she made my dad's money stretch like Houdini. She was like a freaking magician, like she really did amazing things with the money to make it stretch. And we always, like I said, we always had just enough. So I mean, I would say those 3 people, those are the people I look for inspiration from.
Beautiful. And I'm so glad you shared that, because what's wonderful in life is when you can look outside yourself and understand that when you think you can't go another day, or you think there's no way out, you can think back to an example of someone that was pivotal and you getting, there is always a win. It doesn't have to be the worst. As bad as your situation might be, someone else may have it even worse. But there's an expression I'm trying to embrace more and more these days: more than enough. Because right when you think you don't have anything else to give and you don't have enough, you realize, wait a minute, I have so much. And, there's a lot of talk around gratitude exercises. I embrace those, because when you just take a moment and you think about all the things that you do have to be grateful for,
absolutely,
it starts washing away the regret.
That's one thing that's one on the top of my list: gratitude. All the time. I'm so grateful for the parking in the front, and I have to walk so far. I'm grateful for so many little things, and my kids know I raised them like that, like being grateful for the small things, being able to see them, like, not see them as nothing. You have to see them as something.
It's something.
If they're little, even if it may look like insignificant to someone else. I mean, for me, attitude of gratitude is everything.
Right. Right. And it takes me back to when you were talking about these experiences that have happened when we're children, when we're in our young adulthood, and the people that are doing these things, let's say our parents, they have no clue that they're providing an example, that they're building memories for you, that decades later are going to guide you in the choices that you make. It's such a phenomenal connection that we get to have with people that give us life, and then we carry their legacy forward. So that is great. Wonderful. We're also curious if you can tell us more about your business journey. Any obstacles or achievements that really stand out to you over these last 20 years?
Well, business as far as my personal business or my job?
Either or.
Well, so in 2007, I started working part-time, because what happens is, I didn't have a degree. So it was hard to move up in the company at that point. So I didn't have a degree, and I had to look to make additional income, So I basically got life license 214, life and variable annuities with Primerica. And I started working part-time in that business. And I started, I'm not a book smart person per se. So it took me a while to get the license, because it was very tough. It was, for me, it was tough.
But you did it.
But I did it. So the life license took me 3 tries. The mortgage broker took me 6 times. It's crazy. Every time I went to the proctor, to the test, she's like, again? I'm like, they keep giving me the wrong test. The investment license, I think I took it like 5 times as well. So it's tough, but I did it because I needed to make extra income. I needed to get out of debt, and that's what I did. So I would work, after work, I would, schedule appointments throughout the week, 2 times a week, and I would go sit with families, talk to them about the importance of having their life insurance, and then give them the opportunity to either coming on board and working with me on a part-time basis, or, just being a client. And so, it worked out. So from 2007, I still have my license. I'm still active. I'm still, doing that on the side, because I was able to get out of debt within 22 months of doing that business, because everything I was making was just applying to the bills and stuff.
Right.
Because in 2008, when, with everything that happened,
the recession and everything.
My husband lost his job. It was just, we went through a tough time. I was so happy that I had that as a backup, to help me through. And so, it's something that I have great leaders in that business. My regional vice president, Katie and Julia Martinez, they're wonderful because they knew I have a full-time job. I don't have time for a lot of the other stuff. So during the day while I'm at work, they're going out prospecting people that I have sent them to and stuff like. So it's a great business to be in because I never had to feel like, oh, I have to clock in or clock. No, my number one priority was always my job.
Wonderful.
And I love my job, and I've loved working for this company for so many years. Um, and so I continue to work with them on the life insurance side. I love the company. I've been able to help so many families since 2007. I've been able to pay out death claims for people that, that they're not going to bring the person back, but it makes me feel good that I wasn't scared to talk to them and to say something. And I'm grateful that I was there for the opportunity to talk to them about it. And that now, yes, it's not going to bring their loved one back, but at least financially they don't have to worry about things. And so
Right.
I love it. I love that too. And I'll continue. I'll always be licensed and I'll always keep doing that. But as I moved with the company, I was promoted in 2019 to take over the Tampa region. So I moved. So I have from I think it's I can't even remember, but it's like a little forward Naples, from Naples all the way up to Pensacola is my territory.
Oh, wow.
With the concentration being in Tampa and Sarasota. So that's where I kind of moved to now. And I love it. Before the pandemic happened, I went through what's called the wave season, which is like our busiest time of the year. And I was able to I think I did like 3 presentations daily. It was great being in front of the, room, talking about the brand that I love to represent and telling people about everything exciting on board. Unfortunately, this stuff happened and the pandemic happened.
Right.
But we've continued to support our travel partners. We've continued to be there for them, to help them move, those future cruise credits and do whatever we can to help them stay afloat in business. The company as a whole has done so much to help agents. And so I'm proud to work for this company. It's a great company. We're like a family here.
Nice.
And I have great leaders. My director, Michelle Homoki, is incredible. The support that she gives. I tell her, you're like my mom. I call you like 3 or 4 times a day. Every day, Mitch. I don't know how she does it. I mean, and she calls you for a meeting at 8 o'clock in the morning and she is dressed to the 9. I want to be like her. I always say I want to be like you when I grow up. She is decked out, hair done, everything. She looks amazing. And so she's such a great support. And our team as a whole is incredible because I can call anybody on my team. I need help with reporting. We have a solid team and we're a family and I love it. It's, we have our tough days where I call and Mitch, I need help with this and we need to call, and she's always there. I call her at 8, she picks up. I call her at 10. She's great. So I'm glad that I have, such a great team, such a great support system, that I work for a company that is so incredible, like the one that I work for. And, I feel blessed. I have an attitude of gratitude every single day.
That's fantastic. And, I like how you made the point, going back to the testing cycle, never give up, never give in, and have perseverance is everything. Because if you imagine a prospector and they're so close to striking gold or finding those diamonds, but the day before they quit, you put all that work in and it's right there, but you couldn't see it yet. So you quit.
I'll tell you this. So I was feeling so bad. I was like, after the second time, I was like crying in the car. And I called my regional vice president, Katie, and she is like a little cheerleader. She's always like, give me a, that's Katie. She's like, don't worry about it. You'll get it next time. But she's like, but listen, you're going to have such a big team and you're going to have people to fail. And you're going to be able to tell them you failed too. You know exactly how it feels. Keep going. Keep doing it. The more you fail, the better the story. The more you fail, the better the story, she would say. And so, I just kept going and and they really are incredible partners too. I feel so blessed as just in a whole that I have the situation I have at my job and the situation I have in business, and I feel good because you know what? I learned so much with Primerica. Like I didn't know anything about 401k. I didn't know how Roth IRAs work. And that I have that fully funded, that I know what a 529E is, that I have that for my kids, that I have I feel like my future financially is secure,
Nice.
right? Because I have these things in place. I'm not worrying about, I increase my 401k at work because I understand the way, because of Primerica, the things I learned in Primerica. So, all of those things they're great. And
Yeah.
and I'm thankful for my experiences in both business and in, but in business with Primerica and in work with Celebrity Cruises.
Nice. And as they say, knowledge is power. So you have
Potential
great
power.
resources
Potential
if
power.
you
'Cause
apply
if you
it
don't use
correctly.
it, you lose
The
it.
rest of that sentence. All right. So, one last question. If
Okay.
you could jump in a time machine and travel back 20 years, what advice would you give yourself?
Girl. Oh my God. Don't get pregnant. No, I'm kidding.
It's gracious.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Girl, let me tell you, my daughter was the biggest blessing.
Oh,
It really made me, I wanted to be, I was young when I got pregnant, but I was like, I wanted to be somebody she could be proud of and somebody she could look up to.
beautiful.
That made me I feel like that put me like, you know what, I gotta be the best, because I want my daughter to be proud of me, So no, I would never change that. I was just kidding. What would I tell myself 20 years ago?
Mm-hmm. Knowing what you know now.
Ooh, that's a hard one.
It gets most people. Take your time.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I'm gonna think about that. What would I tell myself? I would tell myself to start saving from then. First of all, I would tell myself about Roth IRA, 401k back then.
Right?
First of all, I get set with that. I'd be like, listen, you got to get Bitcoin. You got to get this. All of that money stuff first. I would actually say, keep your head up. Because you know what? 20 years ago, I was applying for everything and getting nothing. And I kept getting the same thing, like, oh, you're great. You do a great job, but you're rough around the edges. What is that? I would get so frustrated.
Of course.
I'm what? I am dumb. What? No, I would say don't get down on yourself, because your time is coming. Your time to shine is coming. People are going to recognize you, your work ethic. People are going to love you. You're going to be just fine. I spent a lot of time doubting myself back then. People pleasing, I think, to an extent. Yeah, I would say, girl, everything's going to be okay.
There you go.
You're going to be grand. You're going to be great. Everybody's
That's
going to love
fantastic.
you for the right reasons.
Yeah, so lovely. And
I
that's
don't have
key.
anything deeper than that.
No, that's
it.
That's everything. That's everything. Because imagine if we lived in our power every single day. What does that do?
Yeah.
And like you were saying, there's things that we learn because that's just life and experience and the wisdom that comes with it. But if you knew back then and you started applying all those little things, the largeness that would be now. The reason I always ask that question is because, first of all, there's some out there that are younger, and those that are wise are going to take that advice and start applying it now.
And you know what? You and I thought about another thing.
Go ahead.
Another thing. When my kids were little,
Yeah.
I worked so much because I was trying to afford a certain lifestyle. I wanted them to live in a certain neighborhood. I wanted I was thinking more financially, right? And there's a lot of times that I wasn't there, that I kicked myself in the butt now, because I'm just like, money is not everything, right? They say it's up there with oxygen, but it's not. It's just pick and choose what it is you're going to do, because there's certain times that I think back at that I'm like, I should have been there. Like my son's first performance, I was gone for work. But when I think back, maybe I could have said no. Stop trying to say yes to everything and I could have said no, and I would have been there for my son's performance. It's maybe nothing, but those are the little things that I think about, being there more for my kids, and more as far as not just sitting there on my computer and I'm there and they're watching me, but being more present in the time. So if I could say something to myself back then, is be more present when you are there with your when you're with your family, just be more present, you know?
Lovely. Yeah. So
Yeah.
be in the now. I love it.
No, no, no.
And you know, the other reason I asked that question is because it all starts today. It's very easy to think, oh my God, 20 years ago I would have blah, blah, blah. But now we can start implementing that advice for ourselves because 20 years from now, that makes us even greater.
Right.
So thank you so much for all the insights, for sharing your experience, your bubbly personality. If anyone wants more, how do they get in touch with you? Do you have social media, email? What do you want?
Um, yeah, they could find, yeah, I have email if they want to call. I didn't know you're going to get my information out there. My email is easy. If you
Okay.
guys are looking to book a cruise, I'll partner you up with one of the best travel partners. I have so many great partners in my repertoire. Yeah, I work with amazing travel partners. But yeah, if somebody's interested in booking a cruise, or they can email me. My email is easy. It's jlo@celebrity.com. jlo@celebrity.com.
And I will make sure it's included in the description. Meanwhile, we thank all of our listening audience for coming back, spending your time with us here at New You Wow. Remember, it all starts today when it comes to change. If you want it, go out and get it. Make it happen. Wishing you safety and every happiness. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to share this video and like, comment, and subscribe. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at New You Wow. Until next time, stand tall in your power and remember, your belief in yourself is your superpower.